So there's two things I'm trying to represent. That's all in one person. One person can literally take over the world, and that's what I plan on doing. The biggest thing was I was out training in Montreal and then training around 135ers and 125ers. Man, these guys, once you get to like the UFC level, once you get to a higher level, cutting a lot of weight. They're cutting anywhere from 160 down to 135. Where I'm walking into the cage around 140, around 140, 142, and where that kind of averaged out was a 125 weight class. Even though I haven't been 125 since grade 8, I knew if I just got disciplined on my eating, that was one of my biggest things. I knew my training was good, everything was good. But if I could just tweak those little things about my eating, I could easily make it down, and that's exactly what's happened. I'm kind of slowly transitioning my way down, trying to get the feel of it and everything, and I think 125 is going to be my new home now. It's completely different, man. It wakes you up. It really just humbles you. It wakes you up. It puts you, it shows you the level of the champ and the rest, right? And it's one of those things where you can't get discouraged and stuff like that. You go there and you learn, and they're amazing. They've become almost like a family real quick to me. They're so homely. Matt Humes is always in touch, and Demetrius is always keeping in touch. Even when my fight just fell out the other day, he was at UFC 189 in Vegas, and he messaged me in the middle of the main event and say, yo, how did your fight go? Like, to care that much, like, he didn't even have to think of me, but it goes to show, like, you know, the camaraderie. As soon as he knew I was fighting next Saturday, he messaged me right away. He's like, get down here, get in your last sparring over here. He first got to message me right after. And it's just training with that guy, it makes everything else seem easier. That's the thing. It's like, you know, your hardest fight should be in training. My last two fights, the guys felt so slow after I've been just seeing this guy angling around me, taking me down, picking me up, and all this stuff like that. And you guys saw some of the stuff on the countdown. It's just, they had to slow the camera down in order to catch what was really going on. Well, I always kind of hear that talk, right? The thing is, I come in here with no background. These guys always have some sort of wrestling background or something like that. So right away, they'll put them on a pedestal that he's a wrestler facing, like, you know, just a mixed martial artist. The biggest thing for me is I train in the presence of fear, right? So I made myself believe that he was much better than me. That's what made me make the treks down to Washington. That's what made me take naps on the side of the highway between the I-5 and here, sitting in border lineups. I didn't need to do that if I thought I was already good enough to beat this guy, right? So that's the way I approach every training camp. Even this next one, I got one extra week now to train. I'm putting in my work. I'm putting in my work that this guy somehow will become even a bigger monster over the 1 week more that we have. And that's what I do. I make these guys, I hype them up to myself. I make them monsters, so when I get in there, this guy was just, I caught his kick, took him down, pounded him out in 3 minutes, right? His last fight went all 3 rounds. But that's because I trained with the best guys, because I felt he was always that much better. And that's the way I've always approached training. Yeah, Battlefield's a great home for me. I won my first belt there. I've made transition from amateur to pro in there. So there's a lot of comforts there, but I've never fought at the casino that we're fighting at. I've always fought at the River Rock. River Rock has always been my home, not the Hard Rock. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just, I'm just there to represent whatever I need to represent. I represent my South Asian people worldwide, everywhere. I don't care what venue it is. At the end of the day, the cage closes, me and the guy in front of me. He's my obstacle. I got to get through him to take this vision even higher. I'm trying to represent basically a billion-person population that has not been touched. As much as people are talking about Ireland and all this stuff right now, 1% of my population will overtake any MGM in Mandalay Bay. And wait till you hear like a Punjabi song drop in a big arena, they're gonna have to change the sound system. I bring in experience to my fights. From the entrance, I take it seriously, from what I wear out to the fight, to the way I fight and the way that I enter the cage. It's all my traditional, my cultural ways that I've been raised around, and that's what I represent every time I go into these fights. I've had 5 finishes, five first round finishes. Yeah, I'll be 8-1. I see the flyweight division of the UFC. I know I can take on majority of those guys. I see go through their records, I go through their fights. I know I can stand with all those guys in there. I'm training with the best guy in the division, if not one of the best pound for pound fighters. And another one is the 135 1FC champ, who's my head coach, Viviano Fernandez, my mentor. When I'm around the 2 fastest guys in the world in the 2 different weight classes, and knowing that every day I'm getting better around the hardest dudes, I'm ready for the next step. I'm gonna get a highlight finish on this next one. I'm gonna send it off to Sean Shelby, and hopefully these guys wake up, man, and like let them know that there is a huge market sitting there waiting for them. And I'm here to represent it. I'm here to talk business. I'm here to do the thing. I'm here to do whatever I need to do to represent what I need to do. It kind of refuels me. It refuels me because this is where it started. this is where, and the reason I love doing these runs in the morning, this doesn't even count as my training, is because when I first started this, before I even knew how to throw a punch, I was looking at BC Place, I was looking at Rogers Arena, I was like, these are the arenas I'm gonna fill up one day. These are the arenas I'm gonna come back to. This is where I'm gonna come. And it's nice just kind of to be fighting at home and just kind of get an idea. Every morning I run faster here. I look at it. It's like having a live vision board in front of you. So I'm having it on a piece of paper. It's in my room already, these two arenas. But to see it every morning live right there, it's completely different now. Going to Montreal, I'm training with the best guys. I'm picking up the best knowledge and knowing. You have to wake yourself up and you got to remind you of your vision. Everybody has something. Everybody has something they want to represent. It depends on how deep it goes. Mine, I've been at this for 8 years now, and it has never changed. Every morning, I already know what work I got to put on. There's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs that people will never know about. And I just have to keep believing in the vision. Surround myself with a good circle. My circle has become very small over the years, and I'm very grateful of that. That's one of my biggest things. They keep me empowered. They keep me strong. And that, I think, is a formula to success to the top, is to figure out who's with you, surround yourself with those people, work hard work, dedication. Two biggest things that have got me this far through anything I've gone through. And I just want to represent Vancouver. I want to represent the South Asian people worldwide. I want to represent the flag of India and Canada put together, because I'm born here, but my parents are from India. So there's two things I'm trying to represent. That's all in one person. One person can literally take over the world, and that's what I plan on doing.